Hi guys, in today's video I'm going to be trying on some newly released and they are limited edition Charlotte Tilbury products. About a week ago I did a video using the Hypnotising Pop Shots. I used two of the shadows and I did mention in that video that I did have a third one on order from Beautylish along with the Pillow Talk Beautifying face palette, and those arrived about 2 or 3 days ago. So that order from Beautylish took about 3 weeks or just over 3 weeks. So today I'll be using the face palette and I'll also use the pop shot that arrived. This one is in the shade Rose Gold, and I'll also swatch the other ones for you as well. And just like in the other video, I will be using matte eyeshadow with the pop shot, and again I'll just use the Charlotte Tilbury. This is the Super Nudes matte eyeshadow palette. I think this is really lovely and I think it looks really beautiful with those single eyeshadows. So I've already got all my base makeup on today. Today I'm wearing the Hourglass. It's the Ambient Soft Glow Foundation. I did a review on this foundation quite a while ago now, and the shade that I used in that video, I think it was shade 5 or shade 5.5, and it was just too light for me. I made it work for the video, but it was really just too light. Now the other day I did pick up the shade 6.5 and I think this is the perfect shade for me, and this is a really great foundation, especially now with my oily skin, and also now that the weather is warmer. Today I'm just looking out the window here, it's still raining and we've got that cloud coverage and it just makes things just a little bit more humid, and I'm just finding I've been wearing this foundation for the last 2 or 3 days and I'm just finding it wears really well with my oily skin and lasts beautifully throughout the day, and it doesn't go greasy looking or anything like that. And I'm finding at the end of the day when I'm removing my makeup, it's looking almost just as good as when I put it on in the morning. I think it's a really lovely foundation. And the concealer that I'm wearing is the Chanel Sublimage one. It's an absolutely gorgeous concealer that is available now in the USA, both at Chanel boutiques and also online. And for bronzer today, I decided to use the Sisley one. This is the Phyto-Touche one, and this is the lighter out of the two. I think these are really beautiful bronzers. I love them. This has been around for quite a long time now, but I just picked this up this year and I do reach for it quite often. I think it's really, really lovely when I just want really a beautiful soft warmth. This is the bronzer that I reach for. I think it's really lovely. But everything that I'm putting on my face today, I will have in the description box below, and all the items will be linked. So we'll start off with the eyeshadows. As I said before, I'm also going to be using the Charlotte Tilbury, the Super Nudes eyeshadow palette. But this is the Pop Shot. This is the one in Rose Gold. The other two single eyeshadows that I got were Smoky Quartz and the other one was Sunlit Diamond. But I will swatch those as well as this one in Rose Gold. I am hoping that this will be intact. I have seen a couple of videos where their singles arrive broken. So I'm hoping this one will be in perfect condition. And I've just had a quick peek inside and it is in beautiful condition. So here is the outside packaging of these really gorgeous little singles. I think that these perform really beautifully. And here is the shade Rose Gold. I'm really looking forward to using this. I think this is a really gorgeous shade. So I'll swatch all 3 of the singles on the back of my hand. First of all, I'm just going in with Smoky Quartz, and that one is super smooth. Next, I'm just going to go in Sunlit Diamond. This one, it performs really beautifully, but it's not as smooth as the Smoky Quartz. And now I'm just going into Rose Gold, and this one is smooth. This feels more like the Smoky Quartz one. So here we have Smoky Quartz, this is Sunlit Diamond, and this is the one that I'm going to be using today. That one is Rose Gold. So I'm going to take this on in G. This is a classic crease, and I'm going to go into the shade here. I'm going to go fairly quickly through this because in my other video when I used the Hypnotising Pop Shots, I also used this eyeshadow palette. I think the Pop Shots are really beautiful, but for me, I like to mix it with a matte. for me, it's just a little bit too sparkly, those singles all on their own. But I think they go beautifully with the matte shadows. Then I'm just taking the Rapha 14 and go into the shade here, just to deepen up the crease a little bit. And then with the Sonia G, the soft shader, I'm just going to stick with the same shade, and I'm going to run some of that under my lower lash line. Then I'm going to take the Rapha 12 and I'm going to go into the shade here, and this is to put in the outer corner. I'm just going to stamp some shadow in there first, and then I will blend it out. And then to blend it out, it's another Sonia G brush. This is the Blender Pro, and I haven't got any shadow on this brush. I'm just using the shadow that's already on there. And then I'm just going to take the Rapha 3, and I just want to stay with the shade. I'm going to put a little bit of this on my lower lash line as well. Then I'm going to take the pencil 1, and I want to go into the deepest shade in this palette. I'm just going to use a tiny amount, just in the very outer corner. So now I'll use this Pop Shot in Rose Gold, and I don't think I mentioned that these are made in Italy. They have 1.2 grams of product, and they have a shelf life of 24 months from date of opening. So for the brush, I think I'm going to use, first of all, it's the Sonia G one. This is the Builder Pro, and I'll just use this brush first and see how this looks. That is a really beautiful shade, and it's pretty similar how it goes on to the Smoky Quartz, because the other one, the Sunlit Diamond, even had just wasn't much, but a little bit of fallout when I put it on. But the feeling of this one is just like Smoky Quartz, and I think that the shade is really beautiful. I think it looks gorgeous just like this, but I am going to try and get a little bit more payoff. I'm just going to grab the brush. I'm going to grab the Sonia G. It's the flat definer, and this time I'm going to wet it. I'm just going to use some Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray, and just give that brush a spray, and you certainly do get more payoff. It's a really, really beautiful shade. So now I'm just going to put some on the very edge of this brush instead of changing brushes. And just put some of that just under here. And I'm not going to put any on the inner corner, because from the face palette I'm probably going to use one of the highlighters on the inner corner. I think they would look really lovely. So for eyeliner I used a Charlotte Tilbury one, and for the mascara it's the YSL, the Lash Clash. This is a new mascara for me, and I think it's really, really good. This was recommended by someone on a live that I watched about a month ago, so I decided to pick it up, and I think it is a really lovely mascara. It's really good at volumizing. I don't have the longest of lashes or thick lashes either, and this does a really good job of my little tiny lashes. I think it's a really lovely mascara. So this is the finished eye look, and out of the 3 pop shots that I got, I think that this shade is my favorite, and I think it goes really beautifully with the matte eyeshadow as well. The formula is beautiful. As I was saying, it's very similar, if not identical, to the formula of the Smoky Quartz, because the Sunlit Diamond was a little bit more gritty. That looked beautiful on the eyes too, but it's just not quite as smooth as the Smoky Quartz, and this one, the Rose Gold. But altogether with the matte, I think it's a really beautiful eyeshadow. So now let's take a look at the Pillow Talk. It's the Beautifying Face Palette, and it is similar to, or it's identical to, the packaging of the Pillow Talk, the Multi Glow. This was the highlighters that came out earlier this year. Just really, really beautiful. Now this face palette, just like the Pop Shots, is made in Italy, has a shelf life of 18 months from date of opening, and each pan in this palette, it's a 4-pan palette, has 3.8 grams of product. Now these face palettes came in 2 different shade ranges. I picked up the fair to medium, and there was also a medium to deep as well. It has the generous size mirror inside. These feel fairly weighty in the hand, And here are the 4 products. You've got 2 blushes and the 2 highlighters. So up the top here, she calls this the soft blush, and then you have the super glow, and then down here you have the super blush, and along here is called the multi glow. And then when you take a look at the description on the Charlotte Tilbury website, even though initially it says for all over the face and all over the eyes, a bit lower down she does say that the blushes are not suitable to put on the eyes, but the highlighters are. So I think this lighter shade here I will put on the inner corner of my eye, and I think that's what I'm going to do first. So I'm going to take the BK Beauty 204 and go into this one here and just put some on the inner corner. I am going to swatch these soon and also do a couple of comparisons with the blushes as well to some other blushes that I've got, but I just want to put this on the inner corner first. So that is a really pretty glow for the inner corner. They aren't overly shiny, but they do give a really subtle glow, and I think it looks really lovely with the rest of the eye look. So now I'm just going to swatch these on the back of my hand. So this is the blush on the top row, and this is the blush on the bottom row. This is a really quite a bright pink. This one is much more subtle. And this is the highlighter on the top row, and this is the highlighter on the bottom row. So the 2 blushes that I've pulled out are more possibly going to be similar to this one here. I don't think I really have a blush that's this colour, but there is the new Gucci blush, and that's in rosy beige, and there's also the blush from the new Natasha Denona. It's the My Dream Cheek Trio. I love both of these blushes, both the Gucci one and the Natasha Denona. I think they're really beautiful. So I will swatch. I've just wiped down my hand, but I'm going to swatch this blush again on the back of my hand, and then I'll swatch the Gucci blush and also the Natasha Denona one beside it. The Gucci blush, this is in rosy beige, and then finally this is the Natasha Denona one. So the Charlotte Tilbury one on its own, I thought it had quite a bit of brown in it, but when you put the Gucci one beside it and then also the Natasha Denona, it definitely has, it's a lot more pink than these 2, but it's still a really beautiful soft shade. So I'm going to take my Chukahodo, this is the F03, and I'm going to go into this top blush here, and I'm going to put this one on first. I will use a little bit of this as well, but I mainly just want to use this blush first. And this is going on really lovely, and it's also just a really beautiful shade too. And then I'm going to go into the shade here. I'm just going to very lightly tap my brush, and I just want to put just a little bit of that shade just here. This one is quite a bit brighter. I think I prefer this shade more, but I think if you go fairly easy with the second one, even though it's quite bright, it does look quite pretty mixed in with the other one as well. Then I'm going to take the Chukahodo, this is the KZ02, and I want to go down to this highlighter here, and I'm going to put this over the top of the blush. This is a very soft brush, and I'm just going to put it over the top of all the blush, and that is really, really pretty. It gives a really gorgeous glow. So this shade over the top looks really beautiful. It's not glittery, you've got a highlight there, but I think it's very soft, and I think it looks really, really lovely. So finally I'm going to go into the shade. This is the one that I put on my inner corner. This is a Rapid brush, it's number 27. I just want to pinpoint this one a little bit more, and this brush should pick up a little bit more product than the last brush that I used, and I'm just going to put just a little bit more through here just so you can see the highlight. And then finally for lipstick, I'm going to use the Dior Addict. This is in the shade 100 in Nude Look. So I think that the finished look is really pretty, and this rose gold pop shot is just gorgeous. I'll just hold it up again one more time. Really beautiful shade, and as I was saying, the formula is just as smooth as the smoky quartz one. Really beautiful to put on, and just got a little bit more of a pop when I wet the brush, but I think that these pop shots are really lovely. So if you like single eyeshadows, I highly recommend these. There's still some in stock. These are limited edition and a great time to pick them up during the Sephora sale. There are quite a few different shades. One or two of the shades are exclusive to the Charlotte Tilbury site, but there also is a really lovely selection at Sephora as well. Just really lovely eyeshadows, and I think they just go beautifully with the matte eyeshadows as well. And the face palette is really lovely. It's super pretty with these pinks. I think it is gorgeous. I think the blush went on beautifully. The blush is definitely buildable, and out of the two shades, I probably prefer this one. And I didn't think I was going to like this one at all. But if you go easy with it and add it to the other blush, I think it gives a really beautiful look. I just think for me, I just need to be really subtle with it like I was, and I think it looks really lovely. These work beautifully as a highlighter in the inner corner, and also when I added a little bit more up there. I think this is a really beautiful shade, and I also think this is really lovely when I use that soft Chocohodo brush. I think over the top it looks really beautiful too. There's nothing too glittery or too chunky about it. It just gives a really beautiful glow. And I also think another thing you could do is either one of these highlighters, but put one on first and then put the blush over the top, and then you'd get an even more subtle look and a very much sort of lit from within glow. But I think that would look really beautiful too. So I'm really thrilled with these products. I think they are absolutely gorgeous. The colour story of the face palette is really pretty, really feminine, and I really love the colour of that rose gold pop shot as well, and I love the whole look. And I'm loving this Dior lipstick too. This is the 100 Nude look, and I love the formula of the Dior Addict, and I also love the shade. I think it's really, really gorgeous. And not all Charlotte Tilbury products can be wonderful. I recently picked up her eye makeup remover as well to give that a go, and I will give thoughts on that in a later video, either this week or the next week. So not all products are great. There are some fails as well, but the ones that I tried on today, absolutely beautiful. So that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you next time. Bye.